everyone, what's up? Hello everyone and welcome to my great sword tutorial where I'm going to be showing you some tips, tricks, maths and all such goodies that will enable you to use the single hardest hitting weapon in the game with an air of deadly grace that will, unfortunately, make every other weapon seem pathetic in comparison. So without further ado, let's take it for a spin. Okay, alrighty then, so we'll go through every single move that this weapon can do, some specifics on how best to go about using said move, and then we'll take it to the field for a bit more of a practical talk through of what I'm doing and why. If you kind of already know the basics of the weapon and just kind of want the nuance, you might want to skip ahead to that. Otherwise, let's do this, beginning with a ground rule. If your sword is out and you're not currently attacking anything, put it away. Don't be the great sword user that's slowly plodding towards the monster while incredibly vulnerable. If you're not attacky, keep it on your backy. That sounded so much better in my head. Our three basic moves then. We have the sweeping slice, which is slow, terrible, and not worth using outside of clearing small monsters. We have the upward slice, which is slow, terrible, and not worth using outside of launching your fellow hunters into the air so they can get a mounting attack, which, needless to say, is a niche use. What we care about is the overhead slice, or from a sheathed position, a draw attack. This thing is fantastic. It's your bread and butter, and it's what will let you get to the meat and potatoes of the weapon. I kind of just really want to go to the feline kitchen now, if I'm honest. And that is because of the charge mechanic. See, if you hold triangle down, 1, 2, 3, you will start pulsing with a red glow. Each pulse represents a charge level. There is 3 in total. The higher up you go, the more damage you will deal. Quite simple, right? So, whatever you do, don't let yourself go beyond a level 3 charge, because you will automatically release the attack and downgrade yourself to level 2. So it's a huge waste of both time and damage. You are rooted to the spot and have a 45-degree re-aiming angle while charging. You're also immune to other players tripping you up, which is kinda nice. However, you're not immune to the monster slapping you in the face. So if he's looking at you, if he's winding up an attack, don't sit there like a lemon charging your great sword. Wait for a better opportunity. Nighttime. Look, it's completely fine for you to be like, "Oh, I left the oven on," if you at all think that actually the opportunity you're about to go for isn't so much an opportunity as you willingly walking into your own death. It really is better to err on the side of caution when you are new to the weapon and not completely sure how much time you're going to have in a given gap against a given monster doing a given move. There's a lot to learn with the greatsword because you need to know the monster's movesets, animation lengths, and tendencies intimately to properly abuse your charging slow attacks. So, you have a full charge combo, as if things needed to be slower and longer. After you release this at whatever level, forward and triangle to go into the strong charge. Again, 3 more charge levels, release this, forward and triangle for the true charge. The second hit of which, boom, is the earth-shaking power of the weapon. The single biggest hit in the game possible out of all the weapons, at least as far as one number is concerned. So if you do this full combo all the way to level 3, you're going to be stood there for 13 seconds, which is an eternity while fighting a lot of the monsters. But we have a way to make this a lot easier, a lot more realistically achievable, and a lot more fun, and that is your shoulder. You see, your left shoulder, while having a greatsword equipped, is imbued with such godlike physics-defying strength that it can essentially do anything. So while you're charging, you can decide, hang on, nope, bail out and do a shoulder barge forward by pressing circle. And the thing is, after you have done that, you can then go into the next one in the chain, and so on and so forth. So initially, you can use this shoulder barge to get to your big powerful attack as soon as possible. So you draw, immediately cancel that one, and then release. That is the fastest way from a sheathed weapon to get to your true charge, taking the least amount of time to get some big damage out there. And that's really cool. But its biggest strength is the fact that it gives you 50% damage reduction, at least as far as my tests can tell. This is a Diablos charge while barging through it, and this is one without. And this is tempered Diablos. So it's a huge reduction. But more importantly than that, you cannot be knocked back. It's essentially half a second of better Rocksteady mantle every time you press it. And Rocksteady is broken. Oh, no Gigante's roaring? Shh! I don't care! Oh, what's that? I'm fighting Basil Goose and I've got to get hit by a load of explosive scales because I committed to this attack. Well, patience, and... pathetic! Oh, no Gigante is spike bombing me! My shoulder does not care. So yeah, not bad, right? One final little nuance to note. If you shoulder cancel the middle strong charge, well then you have to let the true pulse 3 times for maximum power. However, if you let even a level 1 strong charge through, well then you only have to let 2 pulses happen for a max power true. And that is worth keeping in mind. In the description you'll find a lot of maths on various different combinations of shoulders, charges, and all of that good stuff, how long it took, what kind of damage it did, and what DPS that resulted in. But for the TLDR, your best time to damage combo is as follows. You draw a slash, you let the level 1 of this fly, and then you unleash a fully charged true. And then if you've still got more time, roll away, barge forward, let the level 1 fly, and then again a maximum true. And then from this point you've just got to make decisions, right? So I roll away and oh, I'm still out of range. I think I'm still out of range, so I'm going to shoulder barge even further. Okay, he might be leaving, so I'm just going to let it go at level 1. Cool, I got the damage in. Please err on the side of caution when it comes to releasing early. It is better to instantly let your true charge fly if you think the Wyvern might be going, so you do hit at least the first one, which is still stupid damage, then try and be greedy and get the full charge in, have him leap away and hit thin air. It's such a waste, and it's a little bit embarrassing because you're there awkwardly recovering from attacking the ground in front of everyone. So, yeah, you gotta consider that. There's no hard and fast rule with the Greatsword. Simply make decisions consistently during your combo based on what the monster is doing. So, for example, oh, here we go! Alright, cool, he's not doing anything right now. I'll release. Okay, I'm gonna wait. Okay, he's attacking me. Quick, shoulder badge through. Alright, lovely. Okay, he seems to be leaving, so I'm just gonna do a quick one. Actually, I can catch up to him if I shoulder badge forward and then wait. Okay, he's not actually attacking me, so good. I'll release that, and alright, I've got time to charge this. Awesome, that flinched him, so I'll go down to his tail over on the right here, and oh, he's doing a tail sweep, so cool. I managed to bash through it, and so on and so forth, right? You just keep making those decisions based on the slight movements you can see from the position near the monster that you are of what attacks you think it's going to do, and time everything accordingly. You will just get better and better and better at that, such that you hardly ever need to stop attacking because you are rolling and shoulder badging round your target so fluently that it either is hitting your shoulders or just not hitting you at all, while tanking true charge after true charge, having parts shredded, of which the Greatsword is fantastic at, having tails cut, having flinches, having knockdowns, and your team will just be loving you for all the extra uptime you're giving them with these impactful hits. Talking of impactful hits, you have another little tool in your arsenal. After a shoulder badge, you can choose to kind of just nope out of the situation with a jumping slash. This will travel you the distance of a roll and essentially is your kind of bailout tool. And if you only have a couple seconds to attack the monster, running up, letting yourself get to level 3 because it does respect your charge level, and then immediately going another roll afterwards into a sheath, it's a very safe, quick, and distance-generating way to still do a very appreciable amount of damage. Hell, there's an argument to be made that you should just keep kind of doing that just over and over, and then you're absolutely fine. The Greatsword has an aerial attack, because of course it does, and it can be charged to level 3, and again, damage done to time spent ratio, that is nuts. If you don't have someone who should kind of be doing the mounting, like an insect glaive, please don't be afraid of mounting with the Greatsword, because you're very good at it from the sheer damage you are pumping out while you are in the air. So if the monster is next to this ledge, there's no one else who really is going to be mounting, and he's not been mounted multiple times, so the threshold's still fairly low, don't just start doing your normal combo. Use the opportunity, run off that bad boy, and get a nice little level 2 aerial charge, and really help people out. It really is fantastic. As fantastic as the sliding attack, which again is chargeable. So you do an initial powerful uppercut hit, and then press triangle again for a series of downward hits, and they add together for some serious hurt. In fact, if a monster is on a slope, wait for the right opportunity, go down, get your lovely charge hits in, like so, and then just retreat back up the slope and wait for the next safe time to do it, and you'll both be keeping yourself really kind of cozy and doing a load of damage in the meantime. It's really quite cool. So, let's finally address the elephant in the room. Blocking. You can block with the Greatsword. It's not a bad block. You'll get knocked back a fair bit from some of the more powerful attacks, but generally there ain't much that you can't block. It will eat through your stamina, eat through your sharpness, and because of that, a lot of people do have the stigma of blocking equals noob on Greatsword, and really, it's not that true. I mean, if the monster is miles away and you're like, I think he's attacking me, I'm just gonna, okay, alright, I want to be safe, then yeah, you're being a pansy, put down that Greatsword. But if you have just been hit and your character's getting up and the monster's like seconds away from doing an attack on you, like this Nergigante, yeah, just quickly put out your block and guarantee that you're safe. There is nothing wrong with doing that. It is a tool in your arsenal. Use it. Boo fucking who if you have to sharpen one extra time during the hunt. It provides you with a really reliable safety net for really sketchy situations, and that's a nice thing to have, right? So let's hop into a hunt, and I'll kind of take you through what my decisions are and why, and it might help with some more practical examples. Oh, and while we gear up for the hunt, in the background is how to wake up a monster with your biggest attack consistently, how to measure it out and what to do, because as a Greatsword user with a high-end build and weapon, you will effortlessly outdo 8 barrel bombs. It's insane damage, and really that moment, that impact of the true charge as it cleaves something off, as it staggers, as it wakes up with a colossal strike, that moment of connection is the surge of that fuels the Greatsword player. And just experience that surge for yourself before you decide to throw away this weapon and not give it a chance. So here we are against Tempered Diablos, and by the way, there's still a load more I could have gone on about in that training ring. I had so many takes because I ended up with a few of like half an hour later, I was still talking about stuff you could do with the moves, and I'm like, oh god. So I shoulder barge through a hip check, which by the way has a certain deliciousness to it every time it happens. Roll sideways because I know he's doing his double head forward and I can fit through his legs, and then start again. I let that charge hang for a little bit because again I get the feeling he's gonna start sweeping towards me. Roll away and sheath. Always end attacking with roll away and sheath. No matter what else you do, roll away and sheath, because the recovery time is just not funny with the Greatsword otherwise, and it will get you hit. Roll away and sheath. So we go up and I'm like, oh, he's digging, and this right here is when I'm like, I don't have time, I'm just gonna block. Fortunately, he didn't go for me, but that is the exact situation in which the block block is a genuinely useful tool. I body charge forward there because A, his hitbox tends to still clip me, and B, I wanted to hopefully get back in range of him, but it didn't kind of happen. But yeah, essentially guys, I'm hoping that everything I just went through at least gives anyone thinking about using the greatsword a kind of primer as to what kind of does what, how to use what and when, and you know, just at least something to go on. It's my first time doing something like this, so you'll have to let me know how I did and criticisms and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, blocking a raw there because the greatsword is so great you can deny sound waves, and again I actually have time to sheath and run away, so I do so this time. You know, there's no point needlessly blocking, as I said. And now once again we go in, and I immediately decide to bail on that because I have no idea if I can actually have enough charge time to shoulder barge what's coming at me. So I start charging as he's coming towards me, roll through him and block the raw once again, and then immediately back in. Try and charge forward so I can hopefully clip him before he leaves. Unfortunately, accidentally commit to the true charge, but again, roll away and sheath. Make it as quickly as possible. So he comes back out, we go in again. Do our draw slash, start charging, wait to see what happens. In that situation right there, I could have kept charging that middle strong charge for longer, which would have let me have enough time to shoulder barge through that charge, saving me a load of damage and having more DPS up time. So that's why you really have to be hyper aware of what the monster is doing in relation to what part of your charge combo you're currently working with. It's a constant decision cascade that you have to try and respond to perfectly. Essentially, then, the greatsword really rewards a couple kind of core principles: timing and patience. And in order to have both of those, you need really good knowledge of the monster, so you just decide to grab some tracks instead of continuing to fight him. I mean, come on now, I need me those tempered investigations. Gonna try and take the opportunity to get some lovely aerial greatsword. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen, but always a good thing to think about, especially as I'm fighting with a bow user here.
Triple kill!
Those birds! They just cut down, missed. I didn't even notice that at the time. Oh, that's amazing. So again, barging through a few attacks and then get completely blindsided by a quick 1-2 and then saved by a glorious flinch over there. But yeah, in order to get timing, you need to know what the monster's gonna do and therefore where it will be, and then you can start preempting your attacks and just start charging in the middle of nowhere, and that's the highest end greatsword skill, when you can just begin charging your weapon in the middle of a field, knowing that by the time you get to true charge, that monster will put its head in front of you willingly. That is where the glory is. And that's the thing I kind of love about the greatsword. Not only is it satisfying to hit really, really hard, I knew he'd come up the cliff, it is also incredibly satisfying to learn so intimately the monsters, as it requires you more than, I would definitely argue, a lot of other weapons. Again, just gonna sit there and block, not going to waste my time trying to dolphin dive. I see that he's starting to do his casual little raw thing, so I let myself do the full charge there. Hip check coming at me, so I shoulder barge through that, and have now realized that I'm completely out of range of him. Need to turn around, need to readjust, need to go again. So we back out, and then we see the limp happen. But I hope through just watching this you kinda see the decisions I'm making. Getting an actual clip on his leg there is really lovely. So we catch up to Tired Diablos, which is always a lovely sight as a greatsword user when you might actually have proper wailing time, and as soon as I see him drag his right foot back, I know I've got all the time in the world to finish up a proper true charge. I then decide to go back towards his face so I have more length to work with, and then he gets out of it and starts walking forward. So I bail out with a nice sweeping slash and let him do his digging to return to his lair. Initially, I'm like, there's no really juicy, squishy bit to hit on a Diablos. I guess I'll go for the tail and try and get the cut. One thing I failed to realize is that obviously the wings, you can hit them, but you can also walk through them. So the usual measuring doesn't matter, so the first goddamn attack hit. But that's fine. I roll forward, get more range on him, try and get right underneath him so I have more time to work with. And then he goes over there and I'm like, you know what? So I let this keep going because I know that the only thing he can do is... and die, because I know where I'm stood. I know where both Cats and my ally are stood, which means I know that there's every chance his next move is to just turn to face us, and given our positions, that means he's going to put his head lovelily in my sword, and those are the kind of predictions, although it's not a crazy one, that really start to define a greatsword user and are really satisfying to pull off. Let me know then how you liked this. I'm going to do a follow-up video on sets and skills and different builds you can work with, different ways to play it, a KO type build, and by the way, your shoulder barge does KO damage. I feel like I should probably throw that in there somewhere. On single player hunts, you can actually get a few knockouts. On multiplayer, the threshold is so high that, but on single player, definitely quite good. But yeah, either way, I will do a follow-up on the more min-maxy side of things. This was really kind of the focus on the mechanical and feedback. My name has been Rage. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you even though the outro's no longer that kind of relevant. But the new one's being worked on and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.